feel myself being pushed, me being forced forward. Everything around me is all dark, too dark for me to see correctly. I feel that I'm barefoot, my feet walking across and stepping upon a metal platform of some kind. I felt a sharp jab by a blunt weapon into my back torso to force me to continue. I feel that I'm wearing some sort of wrist and ankle shackles. The clink of them against my chest and the pair on my ankles scraping against the metal platform I was upon. As I was kept being pushed forward, I felt myself being shoved or jabbed repeatedly. Where was I being led to? Another jab in the torso from behind. I automatically walked faster as a result, and due to the darkness all around me, and unable to really see what was in my path, I walked body first into a wall of some kind, my face, chest, and arms numb from the impact. A gloved hand from behind grabbed me by the shoulder and shoved me in the right direction. In front of me I heard distant sounds, but these distant sounds grew louder as I was shoved forward once more. I saw a light at the end of this metallic tunnel that I was being forcefully escorted through. Eventually I was shoved into the light. I stumbled and almost fell from being pushed forward and shackled. My eyes narrowed from the sudden contrast from the darkness to the bright light all around me. The sounds all around me were now deafening, so loud that my eardrums hurt for a moment from the constant throbbing of all of the noise all around me. With everything that was happening, I raised my arms and tried to shield my face with my arms from both the bright lights and the ear-splitting sounds. I heard a loud hum. The hum was clear to me because I had instinctively tried to shield myself with my hands, but they were shackled still on my wrists, as the shackles then shook and fell to the metallic surface that I was standing upon instantly with an inhuman force. As a result, I was brought nearly to my knees. These shackles were some sort of magnets, as well as my knees hurt due to the whiplash of being forced down. I tried to look around as my eyes eventually started to adjust to what was around me. I'm actually wearing some sort of prisoner-based uniform in a faded brown color. Tattered trousers with a shirt, the sleeves were torn off. All around me in these countless ring stands was an arena of some sort. I was standing in the middle of one. I looked around quickly to try and get my bearings. The sounds were of people shouting. I couldn't see much details of the people in these so-called crowds because they were so far away. My eyes quickly glanced down to the shackles holding me. I tried to turn and crawl away, but the magnetic shackles didn't budge at all. What was the point of me being here? I just wanted to get away from all this. Looking for something of an escape, I looked at the walls of the arena that I was in. Blood smeared all across the walls, and the entrails of body parts were all across the ground. What sort of arena is this? A human fighting arena? That was the only thing I could describe it as. I twisted my torso in an attempt to turn and flee once more, as I then feel a liquid run down the side of my body. I glanced downwards and looked to my side to see, as blood is seeping from my clothes. I remember that I was jabbed there a few times while I was being pushed through the pathway. Was I stabbed? I had tears in my eyes as I was so afraid and gobsmacked I didn't feel any pain because of all this. But the twisting and turning of my torso aggravated the wound enough for me to bleed. I kept looking around. Why was I still being held here? What was going to happen? I felt the blood roll and flow down my back, as it was now being soaked up by my torn prison shirt and tattered prison trousers. My breathing was heavy as I tried in vain once more to pull my wrists up. The magnetic shackles still kept me nearly down. While my ankle shackles weren't on, I was still able to partially move my feet. I guess whomever was keeping me here didn't think I needed those magnetized as well. Suddenly, I heard the shackles hum once more, and the shackles unmagnetized. All the magnetic force within the shackles stopped. They unlocked and fell with a heavy clunk onto the metallic platform that I was standing upon. Then my ankle shackles unlocked as well. I looked to my wrists. Something felt wrong as I saw that the shackles had cut into my wrists so much that I saw the underlayer of my skin, as the skin stinged against the hot air of the arena. I alternately touched my wrists with my hands. My eyes glanced to my ankles. They were also cut so deeply I could see the underlayer there as well. From the distance I saw a platform hovering towards me, my eyes narrowing to see it. Eventually it soundlessly flew over me and landed a few meters away from me. I glanced to my side, trying to see it in more detail. Upon the platform was a brute, some sort of man, physically taller, more muscular than me. Dry blood and bloodstains all over his body as well as his clothes. in a similar prisoner uniform to mine. Scars were all over his skin. Looking more closely, I noticed that his entire left arm was gone and just a metallic-like cap was covering it from the shoulder socket. I noticed that there was something like an extension piece on the cap, as if the man could plug in or unplug weapon attachments, from what I imagined. My eyes still looking upon this grotesque man, this hideous man, as then suddenly the man's entire upper body turned and shifted towards me as he glanced right back at me. Sweat ran down his bald head as he looked at me with soulless, veiny yellow eyes. A crooked smile, if you could call it a smile, emerged on his scarred face towards me. His lower lip gashed, and it even looked mostly gone, as if some tragic soul before me had tried to fight him and slash his face, scarring him as a result. The hideous man had ankle shackles as well. As I looked around and moved a little bit on the platform, where could I go? Was I supposed to fight against this man? How could I possibly win in a fight against a bloody madman such as him? He suddenly lunged forward, right arm attempting to reach for me, the ankle shackles cutting into his skin. The bastard was bleeding. Soon his own blood covered the platform that he was upon. I didn't want to fight this man. I just wanted to get out of this arena. A loud echoing sound was heard throughout the entire arena, and for a moment, the crowds watching me, as well as him, were silent. What was going to happen? A fair distance away from either of us, a metallic door opened. I didn't want to be here in this arena with this grotesque man, with this crowd of countless people within it. So I ran towards it and through the doorway. The door closed with a metallic slam as I breathed heavily, sweat and blood all over my body. I don't know how, I don't know why, but I just ran. It wasn't completely dark as the first tunnel I had remembered. I could still see around me. I could see signs written in a language I couldn't comprehend, nor did I have the time to actually look at the details of them, as there were more bloodstains on the walls as well as dead bodies all along the corridor that I was running through. I was running for my life. I knew that the grotesque man would come after me. I just have to get away, have to get as far away as I could. Was this a head start in a race of some sort? I had to keep running because if the grotesque man had found me, I knew I'd be surely killed by him. I then heard a heartbeat. Was it mine? I then heard distant breathing behind me. I heard someone running after me behind me in the corridor. Was it him? The grotesque man was actually running behind me, trying to catch me, trying to catch up to me. If the bastard wanted to kill me, I reckon he'd have to catch me first, as I disappeared into a brightly lit beige colored tunnel extension.